Hey guys, this is Mr. Ridpath. I'm made a video for you guys and I hope you enjoy it. It's hopefully going to help you with doing some basic constructions. Okay, here it goes.
So what does a compass do? A compass essentially makes circles. But why is making a circle important? Why is that an important task? Making a circle is important because it is something that we need to do in order to measure equal distances. If you look at this circle and the center is right there, and if I put my circle in black so that you can see it, then what that does is that measures an equal distance in all directions. And why is that? Because the radius, any radius of a circle is exactly the same as any other radius. So what happens? Well, when we take our compass, and if I pick any point in a plane, and I then make a mark like that, and this mark you can see looks like this. If I make any mark like that, then that mark, any point on that mark is exactly the same distance from this point as any other point. So that's what a compass does. What does a straight edge do? It just draws straight lines. Just like that. That's all we need to do. So now we're going to do some of the problems. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to do what's called copy a line segment. So if I have a line like this out on a plane somewhere, and then I pick two, my compass isn't that big, but I pick 2 points, say A and B, and that creates a line segment. That line segment then can be copied onto any other space, any other line in space. So I'll pick my starting point, and we'll call it X, and I want to create a line segment exactly the same length. So what I do is I take my compass and I make a mark, copy that distance, because that's what compasses do, they copy distances, and I can make that mark, and there's my line segment copied. So here's the mark I made with the compass, and there's the copied, and these two are exactly the same length. Okay, copy a line segment. So the next main construction is copy an angle. So how do we copy an angle? Well, what we have to do at this point is we need some angle that we want to copy. So I will draw us an angle, and it can be any old angle. And we're going to name it with one letter, and we're going to call it angle A. Alright, so there's angle A. I want to copy that angle. So to copy it, and I need to start with a line segment and a point, we'll call it X. And so we're going to make angle X so that it's exactly the same size as angle A. And the way you do this is you take your compass and you put it on angle A and you measure equal distances out on angle A so that this segment and this segment will be exactly the same. So I'm going to do that at X as well. I am going to copy that. So what's the marks look like? Well, the mark I just made looks like this in both directions. So now I know that I have equal distances, but what I don't know is how far out here do I have to be. So what I do is I measure this distance with my compass. And I might be hiding this a little, but I've got to do some Alright, so I measure that distance with my compass, and I make a mark like that, and then I come over here and I put that mark right there. So what marks did I make? I made this mark right here, which measured across, came over here and I measured across, and where those two distances cross is my equal angle. And as you can see, those two angles look pretty much the same size. Alright, copy an angle. Now watch this again if you need to see how it works again. The next one we're going to do is a perpendicular bisector. So what's a perpendicular bisector? Well, what we have is a line, segment, call it A, B, and what we want to do is cut it in half. And so the way to do this is we want to find some points out here that are the same distance from A and B, and fortunately we know what that construction is. That construction is we're going to copy those distances, and if you wish you can connect it all the way around. So every point on that curve that I just made is the same distance from B, and then if I turn around, not changing my compass at all, and put the point on A, then I can make those marks like this, and every point on this curve is the same distance from A. So where they intersect, this point is the same distance from A and B, and this point's the same distance from A and B, and if we connect them, we come up with what is called a perpendicular bisector, which will be every point on that line will be the same distance from A and B, and that angle will be a right angle. Perpendicular bisector. So finally that leads us to the last one that we need to do, and that is called an angle bisector. So what we need to start off with is an angle. Any old angle will do. And there's my angle. And what I want to do is now I want to cut the angle in half. And so we do that. We take our compass and we place the point on the vertex, and we just measure out equal distances. So these 2 points are an equal distance from the vertex. Alright, those 2 points where it crosses the angle. Then we want to take our compass and we want to do exactly the same thing. We want to place our compass on each of these points and copy that same distance. Now notice I didn't change what size my compass was, and I'm just coming across and in some sense making an X out there, and you'll see this is the same distance from here and this is the same distance from here, and those are all the same distance from the vertex. So when we draw this, all we have to do is draw through that point, and we have an angle bisector right there, 2 equal halves. Thank you very much. I hope this helps you guys.